traffic is, technically lesser. Is even if you like them way more, like Cinnamon Toast Skin, or Markiplier, or Jacksepticeye, or like Minx. There's so many. Anyway, they started off a little bit later, but the popularity of those channels is like very, very much reduced, compared to Pew's channel. That's not, like I said, it's not because they're not as good as Pew's. He's actually not my favorite YouTuber. I personally prefer, Minx for certain things. And, yeah. Hmm. Sorry, there's this little logo on my pen cap. I don't know if you can see it. Nope, you can't see it. But basically, it's like right there. And it kind of looks like a Trojan's head or something. Like the helmet. Anyway. So I hope you guys are all having a wonderful evening. I want to thank you for joining me on this little exercise in creativity. You guys make me want to do this more so than I usually do. If I had more support, I would be able to better focus on this kind of stuff. But whatever. There are other ways to, prosper in life. Drawing these little lumps all over the place kind of makes me think of Doug Trio. Diglett and Doug Trio, those two kinds of Pokemon are really weird if you think about it, because the Doug Trio is obviously, three separate Pokemon that are fused together, but like when it evolves, what is going on there? is it like just kind of splitting via like mitosis or something? Or is it two other Diglets just happen to come by and are like, hey, I see you're strong. I'm strong too. Let's get stronger together. You know, this. How does that work? And then I think I found out what we assume is the nose is actually a mouth. That's almost always a gape. You know, you never see what's below the ground of a Diglet, or a dog trio for that matter. I mean, there are suppositions and such, hypotheses about what could possibly be below the dirt. And, you know, a lot of them seem to suggest, you know, they do have a body. Some of them, most of them depict, you know, separate bodies. And they resemble, you know, stylized moles. Like, I think they're rodents or something. Whatever. And I think that's kind of cool, I guess. That makes sense. But what if it was actually just one conjoined body? Kind of like some kind of fungus. You know how, like, it said the redwoods of the Northwest are actually one large organism. All those, what we perceive to be trees, are actually not separate trees, but, oops, branches of one humongous tree. Well, basically, like, they have a conjoined root system. So yeah, what if they are one organism? The trios. They have a conjoined body and they have separate heads like some kind of hydra. Some kind of mammalian hydra. While we're on the subject of strange Pokemon, let's talk about Mr. Mime. What's the deal with that guy? You know he's a fairy? And I don't mean that in a derogatory way at all. But he's technically classified as a dragon. Which is kind of frightening. And he's also like, what was it? An episode of Because Science. And, you know, Kyle, the host, was explaining why Mr. Mime is potentially one of the most powerful Pokemon in existence. And I have to say, his argument was really compelling. But I have to imagine that, you know, there are multiple Pokemon with the same abilities. So they are also equally as powerful, I would say. So what is his power? Basically, he has the ability to freeze anything mid-motion. And absolutely.
So, but what? Why is this so powerful? And because he can basically cause the subject to reach absolute zero, which nothing exists at absolute zero. So, and nothing can exist at such a low temperature. So when he stops your molecules, they basically stop, and yeah, you're frozen. And at that point, you are, well, scientifically speaking, you would be unable to return to your normal state at that point because those bonds can no longer exist between your cells. So if someone ever undid what had occurred, you would just kind of melt. It's it's pretty scary to think about. Pokemon can make people melt, which is why you should always respect Mr. Mime. So, there's this game that I had been following for a very long time, since it was in development, and is Conan the Barbarian. And of course, I had grown up with the films and such. And they had finally released the MMO for it in beta, of course. And everyone's playing it. I would, I would, I wouldn't mind giving it a go. Yeah, I wouldn't mind giving it a go, especially because it does have a magic system and all that, but it's all fantasy based, and I love fantasy. It's what I, it's what I pretend to live for, or I would live to pretend, or something, whatever. You know what I mean? Hopefully. So I have a set of chopsticks. Like I actually bought a variety pack, essentially. They're all the same except for like the little pictures that they have at the tips. And I very rarely these days ever match them together. But I like them. Let's see if you can see them. They're cats. Now, I don't really like cats per se. I love my cat. Other people's cats I just find tolerable. But more so, I like them because they're animals. and I like animals.